newly inducted member of the Rowan University Football Hall of Fame.
Good for him.
Let's go to the Maserati of the Mainline Sports Hotline and welcome into the locker room former Eagles linebacker John Bunting. Good morning, John.
Hey, it's good to be with you fellas. How's it going?
All right. I know you were in town for Bill Bradley's induction into the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. I remember number 28.
I tell you what, he's a piece of work. The most amazing acceptance speech I've ever seen. He played his harmonica about half the time. He never talked about football at all, except to say, not once but twice, Dick Vermeil traded me to Minnesota.
I'll never forget it.
He's always been a horse of a different color and a great friend. I could not miss this event, so I flew up here from our winter home in Naples and met my son and a number of others, Kevin Riley included. Frank LeMaster was there. Dick Vermeil was just chuckling during the whole thing. And it was another linebacker inducted into the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, one Seth Joyner, who I think belongs in the NFL Sports Hall of Fame.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there's one guy that when I watch that post game live, I just love his tenacity. I agree with everything he says almost. He has that grit, he has that linebacker
scariness. That
scariness. You look at him, he means business.
Yeah.
He has a little intensity. To know that he has 54 sacks and like 24 interceptions. Excuse me, I'm in the airport right now.
That's all right.
Back today, so you get a little background noise, but he belongs in the NFL Hall of Fame. He really does. And playing Buddy Ryan's defense as a linebacker, which asked those players to do a lot of different things, including rushing the passer, getting back into coverage. He was a complete player. I mean, he was a walk-on player at Texas El Paso.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's something. Hey, John, I wanted to get you on today because I was talking to one of your former players. I'm teaching with him at Collingswood High School, Matt Presido, and he told me, he said that you got inducted into the Rowan University Football Hall of Fame. We wanted to get you on to congratulate you for that. And I told Matt, I said, geez, I gotta get John Bunting on my show.
Well, I appreciate that. Matt was a really good player, great kid, loves football, and that's an important part about becoming a player. Do you really like the game? Do you love the game? If you do, then you have a chance. If you don't, and you're just playing because mom and dad want you to, or because you want to impress some kind of girlfriend or something, you're playing for the wrong reasons. But it's the greatest game there is. 11 people out there on offense, 11 out on defense, 11 on special teams, and they all got to be coordinated, play and execute and play with some intensity.
Yeah, I got to agree. Now, looking at your career, obviously after your playing days, you had an extensive career coaching. You ended up coaching, like I said, at Glassboro State, which is now Rowan. You coached in the Chiefs, and then of course you were the head coach at North Carolina. You were the Rams and the Saints, and then head coach of North Carolina. John, we're looking at the Eagles linebackers. You're a coach. We're looking at the Eagles linebackers, and they just don't seem to be getting the job done.
You're not making plays.
No.
Well, that's what you have to do. There are bend but don't break defenses. We had kind of one of those with Marian Campbell. We didn't give up many yards. We didn't give up many touchdowns. We were kind of a bend but don't break, but we led the NFL in some stats, rushing yardage and interceptions and things like that. But, a defense has to complement the offense. It's hard sometimes to see people playing defense in the NFL these days. There's a lot of high-scoring games. But in order to be a great defense, you have to have the guys up front. And we used to think that me and Berge and Jerry Robinson, Frank LeMaster, we were the studs on the defense. It's all started up front with Carl Hairston and Dennis Bigfoot Harrison and Kenny Clark and Charlie Johnson. These guys were just great players, and they paved the way for our linebackers to make plays. It's in going back to Seth Joyner, Buddy had that that different style of defense that was very hard to prepare for, and but because they did so many things with it, and they were very aggressive, they made a lot of plays. Right now, I've seen some Eagle games. I have not seen them all. I have not watched them totally and try to analyze what the linebackers are doing, but it still pretty much starts up front. And I think the Eagles at times play very well up front, and the linebackers should be making plays.
You got to control the line. I mean, if you're going to control the line,
no doubt.
And when you do control the line, like you said, it makes everything easier. It makes the linebackers easier. It makes the CBs easier. With tomorrow's game, but coming off last week's big win against Detroit, and now tomorrow playing LA, there's a lot of talk going on about can we go to the next level and get 2 wins in a row kind of thing. I know you said you don't watch a whole lot of the Eagles, but there's a lot of talk about if we can get through this game, then the schedule coming up, we're starting to get into our division.
Yeah.
And the division teams we know. So we're really looking, as a fan, we're looking, can we get by tomorrow with LA and try to move forward with the schedule? What do you think?
Well, there's a huge thing about getting some momentum. Now, we know Detroit's not very good. And, you want to beat the teams that you are better than. Sometimes that doesn't happen. But to get a second victory, I remember calling Dick Vermeil in 1978. We'd lost the first 2 games, and I got a message to him, and he called me back in the afternoon on my off day, and I said, Coach, we just need to win 3 games in a row. We will be on the fly after that. And he goes, I'm trying to win 1. We had lost the first 2 in 78, and it's hard. It's hard to win any game in the NFL, but to get a game tomorrow, the Eagles are going to play some form of probably nickel coverage because they have a great passing game. They have a great passer. And I probably wouldn't even get on the field these days as a linebacker because you got to have much more speed and much more athleticism than I possess. But the one thing that I did have, and what linebackers have to have, is eyesight.
Right.
They've got to be able to train their eyes to look at the right things. With today's personnel groupings, 11 personnel, 3 wides and 1 tight end, 1 back, no tight end, 4 wides and 1 back. You've got to be able to substitute. You've got to be able to get the right players on the field to defend, and you've got to be able to know formations, know what they do best out of those formations, and know what they're doing new that particular day. So there's a lot to think about. And once again, I coached a Hall of Fame linebacker out in Kansas City, Derek Thomas.
Yeah.
He was a great player, not a real good linebacker because he had the worst eyes. His eyes would wander all around. You got to fix your eyes and look at the right things so you can make plays. Because that, the eyes go right to the brain and they tell you where to go.
And of course, the imprint that's left a mark and arm, indelible mark and arm braces, like Singletary's eyes, or like Junior Seau, or even Dick Butkus or Ray Nitschke.
They always zero in on the eyes.
Yep.
Jack Lambert. I mean, their eyes were always fixed, like they were like deer in the headlights.
When I was at North Carolina playing, but they feared me because of my eyes. And same thing in the Eagles. When I started calling signals, they knew. And I loved that responsibility, and so did Dick Vermeil and Marian Campbell. They knew that I wasn't going to make a mistake. I was going to execute the defense that was called from the sideline and make adjustments as I saw fit relative to formations and motions and that kind of stuff. So, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it so much. And there was never a question about what was called because I was loud and I had eyes. And we wanted to win. We got to the point where we had so much confidence, we felt like we would stop anybody. We could win any game we played. And the Eagles have an opportunity here to win a second game. Who will be the next game after that? Can you tell me?
After it's the Broncos at Denver.
At Denver, and that's a winnable.
Well,
game.
that's a game they could win too.
Yeah.
So this is a huge game for them tomorrow. I will be watching, that's for sure.
We're talking with former Eagles linebacker and newest member for the Rowan University Football Hall of Fame, John Bunting. And John, you talk about Bill Bradley being walks the beat of a different drummers. He played with some wild guys. Did he play with Tim Rosevich and they had Mel Tom and Ron Porter? I remember those guys. They were nuts.
Yeah, I was a rookie in '72, and Rosevich and Bradley were holding out, which that was kind of unheard of back in the day. And there were news reports, every week. Sometimes they were on television down at the shore. They were down there goofing
They were
around
spotted.
having a good time, and we're out there suffering on the field. It was funny. And then they traded Rosevich to San Diego, if I'm not mistaken, and Bradley was in camp the next day. But what was good about that
John,
was they moved Zabel from outside to the inside, which allowed me to move up a notch because I was a 10th round pick. I think I was number 5 or number 6 on the depth chart when I first arrived.
John, didn't Tim Rosevich light himself on fire? I remember a Sports Illustrated or something. He lit himself on fire.
Yeah, he was a glass eater. And he supposedly drank a quart of motor oil at one point, and supposedly, he was a different kind of guy.
He was different. That's
Really
the key word. He was different.
Talk about him. Yeah,
John, listen, I know you're in
He was
transit, and I know you came up from Philadelphia for the event. You're in transit. I just wanted to reach out to you. We want to congratulate you. You had a really great career even after your playing days as a coach, and you know a thing or two about linebackers, and we really appreciate you taking time to spend with us today. Once again, congratulations on the new honor.
Well, I thank you. We won a bunch of games in Kansas City with Marty, and won a Super Bowl with Dick Vermeil in St. Louis. I had a bunch of great wins at North Carolina, beating number 4 Miami when they were undefeated, beating Florida State for the first time. But my most favorite time coaching was coaching at Glassboro State, now Rowan University.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, John. Well, listen, man, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Let's go Eagles.
Let's go Eagles.
Let's go Eagles. I'll be watching. Thanks, guys.
Right, there he is, John Bunting on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline.